Hey guys, so I'm sorry that I missed yesterday's book review. It was crazy yesterday. But I decided to go ahead and do the book review today instead of my usual video. Yeah, it's just going to kind of be a weird week. The book I'm going to be reviewing today is a John Green book, and it's called Looking for Alaska. When I bought this book, I didn't read the description. It was a John Green books, and I picked it up off of Amazon. I've been up and down with his work, but I've gotten really good recommendations for this book, so I went ahead and picked it up. When I got it, obviously, the first thing I did was read the back cover, and just seeing it here, you can see the big before and after, and that automatically caught my eye. When I got the book, I didn't immediately get to read it, and I couldn't stop thinking about this big before and after. Like, I needed to know immediately what the big before and after was. And so, as soon as I sat down and read it, I'm not good with mysteries. I try to stray away from mysteries because I'm the kind of person that I try not to, but I tend to skip to the end just to see, like, what happens because I can't take the anxiety of waiting to find out. And so the first half of this book is the before portion. To me, this reminded me of a mystery, waiting to see what the before portion was, and I was pretty proud of myself that I didn't skip to find out what it was. And so I made it through the before portion, and I got to the after, and I was floored. I did not see it coming at all whatsoever. I had my guesses, obviously. I had my suspicions as to what I thought would happen, and that was not it. It was not on my radar. For me, the after portion kind of dragged out a little bit. I thought it could have picked up the pace, but overall, I was definitely intrigued by this book. I could not put it down. I read it all in one sitting. So basically, the book itself is about a boy. His name is Miles. I'm always interested in books written in boys' point of views because I feel like they're much harder to come across. So I was automatically intrigued just by that. And he basically convinces his parents that it's a great idea to send him to boarding school. So they do. They send him off to Culver Creek boarding school in Florida. Which is where he finds out how insanely hot it is. I think from what I gathered, he lived in Florida prior to that, but his dorm didn't have air conditioning, which was very odd to me because in Florida you can't live without air conditioning. It was hot. I could definitely imagine. My AC broke earlier this week in my house, and we basically died. So couldn't imagine living in a dorm all year without AC. That would suck. His roommate, his name is the Colonel. He gives Miles the nickname Pudge because it's his exact opposite. Miles is like a stick figure. And so he befriends, basically the Colonel's friends, a girl named Alaska, and then their friend Takumi. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. And then the before portion is basically their adventures, what they do at Culver Creek, how they basically entertain themselves, how they get away with breaking all the rules. I loved it. I was so intrigued by, like, their lives. And then the after portion, for me, as I said, it kind of dragged out a little bit. I don't want to give away any spoilers yet. But yeah, I felt like as I was going through the after portion, I was like, okay, I get it. All right, let's pick this up. You know, you keep reading because you want to find out how all the pieces connect. It's very... just be ready for the shock of your life, basically. I don't know how else to put it. So there are 4 main characters in the book. You have Miles, who basically moves out to this boarding school to find what he calls his great perhaps. So at his old school, he didn't have, like, any friends. He wasn't very sociable, and so he moves to this boarding school for, like, a new start, and he wants to find this adventure that he couldn't have before. And then you have the Colonel. He loves pranks. He has a girlfriend who he hates. They're not very good together. He's very strict on loyalty. He's very strict on not ratting out. And he's very strict on basically sticking by your friends till the end, which is loyalty. And he hates what he calls the weekday warriors, which are the kids that come to boarding school for the week and then go home on the weekends. And that's kind of explained through the book. And I guess it makes sense as you go through the book. Yeah, the weekday warriors, but it's kind of ironic because his girlfriend is one. And then you have Alaska. Alaska is the only girl in the group besides the Colonel's girlfriend, but she's not really in the group. Not much is revealed about her in the beginning, but she's basically the group's cigarette supplier and their alcohol supplier. And she makes all the plans. So she and the Colonel together make the plans and they execute them with the group's help, and they are the pranksters. And then you have Takumi. For me, Takumi wasn't very well. He's kind of just a side character, and I wish that he had been more developed. Kind of just the sidekick. I didn't really get much out of him. Comment if you've read the story and you feel like you really connected with Takumi, because I didn't feel like I did. So yeah, those are the 4 main characters in the book, and then of course you have your side characters. Sarah, Kevin, the weekday warriors. So now I'm going to get a little bit into the spoilers. Not a little bit, I am getting into the spoilers. So basically, you go through the before, and it's counting down days. So it's like 182 days before, 173 days before, and you're like cringing because you're like, oh, I want to know what happens. And then it gets like 2 days before, and you're like looking for clues because you're like, what is about to happen? And it's like the day of, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to happen now. And so Miles, the Colonel, and Alaska, they're all in his dorm room, and they're drinking, and they're hanging out. And so Miles has a huge crush on Alaska. You know that from the time he meets her. Huge crush. Alaska has a longtime boyfriend who she's in love with. This is her first boyfriend that she's stuck by. She hasn't cheated on, and she looks at Miles. They're both pretty drunk, and she says, "Kiss me." Well, he says, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Kiss me." And he's not one to turn down that opportunity. So they do. It also happens to be her and Jake's anniversary. It also happens to be the death anniversary of her mom. Alaska dies. I did not see that coming at all. I thought, to be honest, either Alaska committed suicide or Miles was going to commit suicide. Those were my two, honestly, I thought Miles was going to commit suicide. But as I was going through the book, I was like, he's not depressed. He's not upset. Why isn't he any of these? So then I was focusing on Alaska, and I was like, maybe she's going to commit suicide. I'm not understanding. What's the before and after? That was it. She dies. And I was devastated. I just didn't see it coming. I mean, in the back of my mind, I thought maybe she committed suicide, but it wasn't even that. She just died. So I guess the moral of the story is don't drink and drive. It was heartbreaking. My heart went out to her dad, who now lost his wife and his daughter. My heart went out to her boyfriend, who's probably thinking, I'm the last person to talk to her. The Colonel and Miles are thinking, I'm the last person to talk to her. And then Takumi is thinking, I'm the last person to talk to her. And no one's talking to each other. And I was just devastated. I thought it was kind of strange, though, how, Takumi didn't tell them anything until the very last day when he wrote them a note and was like, moving back to Japan, and here's what I know. Bro. We're trying to solve her death, and you knew this the whole time? bro, I didn't think that was cool at all. Overall, I give this book 2 thumbs up. I was intrigued the whole time I was reading the before section. I biting my nails, cringing. I needed to know what happened. And then, as I said, the after section kind of dragged on a little bit for me, but I still, like, was dying to know, like, what happened. Like, as they put the pieces together, as they solved basically the mystery, I was totally into it. John Green, you did it again. Hands down to you. I'd totally recommend this book to anyone, as long as you're, like, over 13. Because it has, like, underage drinking and stuff, and, like, smoking. I hope you enjoyed the review. As always, comment what you would like to hear in a review. Comment book suggestions. I'm always open to book suggestions. Yeah, let me know if you've read the book. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you've read any John Green books. I've read a few now. As I said, I'm up and down with John Green, but this one was definitely 2 thumbs up. Alright, so click the like button if you like the review. Subscribe for more weekly videos. I promise to get back on track. This week was definitely crazy. Yeah, I'll have a new video up next Tuesday. See you then. Bye. Which striked me, that's sort of weird. Yeah, his dorm roommate person, his roommate. So basically, my hair is so ratchet. That's basically my hair looks ratchet. I apologize.